Congressman Michael Grimm, who represents areas in Staten Island that were devastated by this storm. Congressman, thank you for joining us tonight. Let me just show you an ad that was run back in 1964 by the Republicans, the Democrats rather, representing the opinion of the Republican Party voiced by Barry Goldwater. This was a very hot ad way before you were born. Let's take a look at this.
In a Saturday Evening Post article dated August 31st, 1963, Barry Goldwater said, "Sometimes I think this country would be better off if we could just saw off the eastern seaboard and let it float out to sea." Can a man who makes statements like this be expected to serve all the people justly and fairly? Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
Congressman Grimm, is there an anti-New York attitude in the Republican Party nationally? Anti-New York?
I don't think so. I mean, there's always been a little bias against New York. I think that goes way back. There's no question. I've seen it. I've felt it. But I think what we have right now is just, the deep-rooted concern overall that the country is spending money that it doesn't have and the need to be fiscally responsible, which I wholeheartedly agree with and I respect. It's just when things like this happen, natural disasters, when people are hurting so much.
I didn't hear this during Katrina. I didn't hear it during Katrina. When the Southerners were voting their own pocketbooks, when the Southern Republicans who dominate your party were helping themselves out in what was really a tragedy as well as this one, and it was very vivid, maybe more vivid in terms of national coverage than New York. I got to tell you, I didn't hear anybody talking about set-asides or offsets. I heard them saying, let's get the money to people like Haley Barbour. Let's get them the money.
Well, no, I understand that, but again, let's look back at history. The dynamics were a little different. You were in a totally different political climate then. All we've been speaking about for the last 2 years is cutting spending and so on, the revenue versus spending is fights. So it's more to do about where we are in time right now. We also didn't have a deficit and debt crisis the way we do right now. So let's be fair about the facts. We are in a debt crisis. Yeah. However, when something like this happens, it's an exception to the rule. These people are hurting. They need the help of the federal government, and that's what we're going to deliver today. The bottom line is we're going to move forward. We're going to get this done.
You know, I've been blessed to get to know some of the really good people up in your borough, people like Teddy Atlas and people like James Molinaro, your borough president. They're really doing great work up there. Tell us how bad it is. We're looking at pictures right now, Congressman, of these people that were underwater during the flood and have just been devastating. I saw some of that stuff on your own island of Staten Island a couple weeks ago. It is really rough.
No, it's horrendous. This is a war zone. I mean, let me be very clear. Don't forget about, you see homes crushed. You see people's personal belongings wiped out to sea. But there's also emotional scars that you cannot see. Just this past weekend, I had a mother tell me her children are deathly afraid when it rains because they think there's going to be another flood. Those are the stories that you don't see every day in the news, but the impact, they are devastated, they're emotionally a wreck, and that's also why we're fighting so hard to pass this package, to give them a little bit of normalcy back in their lives.
Well, I'll say you got one thing going for you, community spirit. I've never seen anything like it at St. Charles Church up there in Staten Island. The way those people are really held together in Teddy Atlas's operation. It was so inspiring to see people work so hard for each other.
I've never been more proud of Staten Island. I've never been more proud of my constituency. Teddy Atlas is a friend. I've been in the boxing gym when I've been corrected. Let me just say I'm very, very, very proud of Staten Islanders. They are resilient and they are tough, but they do need our help.
I agree. Let's hope it works tonight. Thank you, Congressman Michael Grimm, who represents Staten Island and other parts of New York. Perhaps no